Papa na, Lana, Gemma, Marina.
Our civilization is at a global crossroads. Mankind's ability to thrive amid population growth, war, and social upheaval is an open question. It's easy to despair in the face of threats to the planet, where climate change, extraction, and unsustainable development continue. But the Earth has weathered storms of destruction for millennia. And in the era of human civilization, in which people have profoundly interfered with nature, humans also hold many of the keys to the Earth's healing. Rather than being frozen by despair, millions of people around the world are refusing to sit down and watch. They are acting, often in small, local ways, to protect what is vital around them. Their actions ripple across streams, lakes, and oceans to spark change across the planet. Together, we are a global butterfly effect with the potential to move mountains. We understand that the doing itself makes the difference. Welcome to the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize.
Good evening. Please welcome Jennifer Goldman Wallis, Vice President of the Goldman Environmental Foundation.
Good evening. On behalf of the entire Goldman family, including my Aunt Susie Gelman, my Uncle John Goldman, and my cousin Rachel Gelman, I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening as we come together to celebrate the best of humanity. Let's be honest, it's been a tough year for both people and the planet. There's so much that worries us, stresses us, outrages us, and keeps us divided. This week, we may witness a fresh assault on the environmental community. But whatever happens, one thing is certain. We will need grassroots leadership more than ever to inspire and lead the way. For me, this community of people who care so deeply about our planet is the antidote. We may not agree on every issue or have every solution to what ails us, But we absolutely can come together to protect the earth and follow the lead of these phenomenal heroes you'll meet here tonight. As a mom of 3 young kids, I, like most parents, strive to provide the best for my children. This is especially true when it comes to nourishing their growing bodies. All of us are becoming more and more aware of the toxins in the air we breathe, the heavy metals in our water, and the microplastics in our food. Climate change and environmental degradation are not only manifesting through catastrophic natural disasters, they are also adversely impacting our children's health in the day-to-day. For me, my kids are a reminder of how deeply interconnected we are to nature. When nature suffers, we suffer. When we heal the planet, we heal ourselves. Tonight, we are privileged to celebrate 7 incredible protectors and healers of our planet. Just as we are profoundly connected to nature, we are equally connected to one another. The leaders we honor here tonight come from distinct cultures across the world and face unique environmental challenges. Yet, they are all united by a common sense of purpose, humanity, and love of nature. In these difficult times for environmental activists, these 7 individuals serve as a powerful reminder of what is possible through determination, resilience, and hope. From Peru to Mongolia to Tunisia and all places in between, let's come together to celebrate these environmental heroes. Now, I would like to welcome our host for this evening, a stellar Bay Area environmental leader, published author, outdoor clothing designer, and the founder of Outdoor Afro, Rue Mapp.
Hi, I'm Rue Mapp, and I am so thrilled to welcome you to the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize ceremony, our 36th. Richard and Rhoda Goldman founded the prize in 1989 as a way to celebrate those on the front lines of conservation, environmental justice, and protecting our sacred planet. I'm here as your host tonight once again because the prize's mission to celebrate those role models and inspire positive action speaks to me in a million ways. It was 16 years ago this month that I founded Outdoor Afro, initially as a kitchen table blog to celebrate and inspire Black American connections and leadership in nature. It has been both an honor and a necessity to champion access to nature for more people so that they too can care for and heal themselves, their communities, and our planet. But there's no getting around it. These are challenging times in the US and globally, and it can be hard to find hope and positivity amid so much bad news. But that is why we are here tonight. No matter how big the fire, there are helpers carrying people out of the burning buildings. That is the saving grace of humanity, even in moments like this. And that is certainly the goal of the Goldman Prize, celebrating the helpers who give us all hope. And the bottom line, when we want to give up despair, or hibernate under our blankets, there's really nothing to do but keep going. In this, the doing makes the difference. Actions breed more action. Helping creates more helpers. That's what we are about. Today, we will celebrate 7 phenomenal doers, but I want to remind you all that there are 226 Goldman Prize winners who came before them, and yeah, go ahead. And most of them have not retired from their advocacy on behalf of the planet. Most continue their hard work. Some have even been elected to office. Some founded organizations. Here are a few highlights from the past year. In Australia's Northern Territory, 1999 prize winner Yvonne Margarula and her community won a decades-long campaign to shut down Rio Tinto's Jabulinka uranium mine. Which had been active for 42 years, polluting traditional Mirarr community lands. Instead, the site will be absorbed into the Kakadu National Park. In Bangladesh, after a student-led peaceful coup d'etat toppled the government last year, 2009 prize winner Rizwana Hassan was named environmental advisor in the interim government. She has used her high-profile position to fight for major environmental changes in her country, including bans on single-use plastics, combating air pollution, and cleaning up freshwater sources. In Kenya, 2015 prize winner Phyllis Omido and her coalition in Mombasa finally achieved justice for years of contamination from a lead smelter in the form of a $15 million settlement for those affected and remediation of the contaminated land. And in Brazil, 1996 prize winner Maria Silva, now the nation's Minister of the Environment, has been busy leading the country's initiatives to protect its rainforests. And it's already showing major decreases in deforestation. And that's just 4 prize alumni. And we have others here tonight in the audience. Please stand up. Let's give them a round of applause. Tonight, in addition to meeting 7 remarkable leaders, we will also hear a performance from the Bay Area's own Rueda con Ritmo and Son Chévere. Thank you all for being here.
Good evening. I'm Sigourney Weaver, and I am honored to introduce you to the winners of the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize. In the northeastern United States, Merrimack, New Hampshire, is home to 29,000 residents who enjoy the peace of its forested woodlands and flowing rivers. Laurene Allen, a clinical social worker, moved here 40 years ago. But what seemed like a healthy place to raise her family was the site of an industrial plastics factory, and the town would eventually face a major contamination crisis.
So Saint-Gobain acquired a company called ChemFab between 2000 and 2001. They upped their production to about 200 employees. They didn't filter the air stacks. They spewed into the environment. And they did this because they knew that the regulations weren't really here. And this corporation has deep pockets. They're an international multi-billion-dollar, giant.
In 2016, Merrimack's drinking water, sourced from public and private wells, was found to contain high levels of toxic PFAS, also known as forever chemicals, which are used as an additive in everyday household items. Community members were alarmed, but local authorities, influenced by industry lobbyists, downplayed the situation.
They did a presentation. They told us these are emerging contaminants. We don't know much about them. And I'm sitting there Googling on my phone, and I'm finding more information than's being shared at this meeting. And I'm getting really angry.
Deeply concerned for the health of her community, Laurene spent long hours researching PFAS. She reviewed numerous scientific studies, as well as reports of water contamination from the St. Gobain plant.
These chemicals are really disturbing because they are the most persistent of endocrine disruptors. They bioaccumulate, they magnify, and we do not excrete them easily. So the impacts on every system of the body are significant. The endocrine system, the immune system, cardiovascular, reproductive health, neurodevelopmental, on and on it goes.
Realizing the severity of the situation, Laurene began testifying at meetings and organizing community members. She co-founded Merrimack Citizens for Clean Water and conducted a door-to-door survey that found higher than average health conditions related to PFAS exposure. But these efforts to raise awareness were met with resistance.
I went to a town council meeting and I had this cross-exam.
There is evidence. What evidence?
Evidence in our community of chronic health conditions, meaning people. They said, you use the word contamination. You cannot use that word. It's inflammatory language. You're going around town and you're fear-mongering.
People did not understand the severity of the situation. So Laurene and her citizens group ramped up their organizing. They engaged scientists and universities to test air, water, and soil. Members of the group were also elected to local and state offices, where they pushed for safer PFAS drinking water standards and the installation of filtration systems at public and private wells. Despite growing community opposition and political scrutiny, St. Gobain continued operations.
So we have this company that's caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing. They continue to do business. They don't lose a day of production. They run faster, harder, and ramp up the production. We wanted them shut down.
Laurene stepped up the pressure by organizing protests and convincing the EPA to hold a listening session in Merrimack. She also worked with the National PFAS Contamination Coalition and journalists to bring broader attention to the situation. In 2024, after 8 years of unrelenting pressure, Laurene and her community triumphed. St. Gobain announced it would shut down its plant and cease operations. The victory was hard-won, but the work continues.
In this area, there will always be filtration systems forever. But what gives me hope is people who don't give up, and even people who are fighting with great sickness in their body, who know that it's not too late for future generations. This is something that never should have happened.
Laurene continues to work with her community to remediate the contamination and address health impacts. For outstanding environmental achievement for North America, the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Laurene Allen, Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Thank you for such a warm reception, and good evening to all. I am truly honored to have been chosen as a Goldman Prize recipient and accept, on behalf of countless PFAS-impacted communities fighting for environmental justice and a stop to the harm. I am immensely grateful for the opportunity to bring visibility to this invisible and global crisis. We should all be concerned by the forever impacts of manufacturing PFAS, the actions of corporate polluters who have for decades emitted and discharged PFAS chemicals, the contamination of our drinking water, waterways, food sources, air, soil, and the stunning array of products, packaging, consumer goods, and textiles that contain these toxic chemicals. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to PFAS, as the more we look, the more we find. Over the course of the last 9 years, I have been stunned to learn just how broken our systems are. Yet, on this journey, I have met some of the most strong and amazing people I have ever known who refuse to be broken. Together, as a national PFAS contamination coalition, we have fought for our needs, grieved together our losses, and worked to push for the federal regulations that should have been in place decades ago. Our accomplishments include the establishment of the first ever national drinking water standards for PFAS, a hazardous substance designation, insistence on site cleanup and remediation, transparent toxic release data, and stopping PFAS contamination at the source. My community is just one of many that have been contaminated without consent. Communities of families whose bodies are riddled with toxins that impact virtually every part of our bodies. In Merrimack, we have kept each other propped up when confronted with blatant lies, omissions, minimizations, and denials of harm, and have become our own experts as we personally struggle with the burdens of PFAS exposure. Currently, much of what has been gained is at risk, as corporate and military polluters will once again control the narrative and enjoy the privilege of being protected from the responsibility of their actions. Without citizen engagement and action, profits will remain prioritized over the well-being of our people and planet, and our broken systems will be hailed as a success. Yet, our story shows that in spite of a dominant narrative that is a blatant lie, when people become informed and come together, change is possible. Together, let's hold PFAS manufacturers accountable. Learn what's in your water and consumer products and insist on PFAS-free. Tell your legislators to strengthen policies on PFAS. And in order to win, together, let's be as persistent as PFAS. Thank you.
The North African country of Tunisia is a global crossroads. rich in culture and more than 3,000 years of history. But like many countries, it faces challenges in protecting its natural environment. Semia Gharbi is a scientist and educator who has dedicated her career to raising awareness about environmental issues in Tunisia.
We cannot live without air, we cannot live without water, we cannot live without food. So the interconnection between the education and the environment that I am working on.
Semia's work took on a new focus in 2019 when Tunisian customs discovered a shipment of 282 containers from Italy that were supposedly filled with recyclable waste, but in fact carried nearly 6,000 tons of illegally exported trash. The scandal reflected a global problem, waste trafficking, in which billions of tons of waste are illegally shipped each year to developing countries.
We cannot accept to manage the waste of other countries. It is really a big issue because already we have our waste to manage. The urban cities are really increasing, so this is also a big issue about the capacities of the landfills.
As Tunisian authorities took key steps to investigate the illegal shipment from Italy, Semia worked with her partners at the Green Tunisian Network to mobilize support for the government's effort and to get the illegal waste sent back to Italy.
The strategy was dynamic. It was like interconnected work with our government. We do our role. It is to give them the information with the science, with the research.
Through interviews, press releases, and social media, Semia and her team raised public awareness while working with authorities toward a solution. In November 2020, the Tunisian government's investigation exposed a ring of corruption responsible for the waste trafficking. Arrests were made, but the containers of trash remained in Tunisia. So Semia and her colleagues turned to international support.
The import-export is regulated by international law. So it becomes not only a Tunisian issue, but it becomes an international issue. And that's to show that there is no borders for the environment.
Alongside global partners, Semia called for action from the Italian government. In response, a UN special rapporteur traveled to Italy to conduct an investigation. The resulting report was a turning point, calling on those responsible on the Italian side to take back the illegal trash. But a setback came when 70 of the 282 shipping containers were suspiciously set on fire.
When we learned about the burning of the 70 containers, we were really very, very upset. We know that with this mixture of waste, it will be a lot of emission of pollutants in the air.
Semia and her colleagues continued to support Tunisian authorities pursuing reshipment of the trash. Working with global partners, Semia also pushed for stronger international regulations. Meanwhile, an investigation by the Italian government led to arrests in Italy. Finally, in February 2022, Tunisia and Italy signed an agreement to return the remaining containers of waste to Italy. A year later, the EU adopted stronger rules and enforcement for waste trafficking.
I think this perhaps kind of movement helped to raise this issue for us as civil society. And we are seeing that in EU they changed it to not export the waste to the developing countries. It is a win for the continent. It's not only for Tunisia.
Semia continues her work as an educator and scientist, promoting solutions to environmental issues in Tunisia and internationally. For outstanding environmental achievement for Africa, The 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Semia Gharbi, Tunis, Tunisia.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Aslama from Tunisia. I'm very honored by this award as a Tunisian and also as a Muslim, women representing the African continent and the Arabic region. I'm very grateful to the Goldman Foundation for their hard work supporting environmental activism. This prize brought me 10,000 kilometers across the world to be with you, this very beautiful audience. It is fabulous how working for the environment has become such a noble pursuit. It unites people from different cultures, languages, and religions for one reason: to protect human health and the environment. I am thrilled to be a part of this truly global community of environmental ambassadors. When I was asked to prepare a speech for tonight, it was very strange for me. After 28 years as a teacher, giving many lectures and speeches, I have not often had such an assignment. But it is great pleasure for me to do my homework, to speak to this wonderful audience. The successful story I am bringing to you is just one representation of people around the world facing the same problems. In Tunisia, like in many other countries, we received the illegal waste from developed countries. As part of our national and global civil society, we refuse to be considered just another country for others to dump their garbage. We must end this waste colonialism. Because the environment knows no boundaries or political borders, our campaign was part of a global effort of NGOs and partners for which I'm truly thankful. Our Tunisian government has also played a critical role in addressing the waste scandal. Working together
we have achieved great things. And our work will never stop because humans have the right to live in healthy environments. Please follow our work with Green Tunisia Network, AFG, and the work of IPEN and our partners around the world. And I encourage you to become aware of where your waste goes. Before finishing my speech, I would love to send a big love to my husband, my 2 kids, and my family who supported me. Shukran and thank you.
Merci à vous. Encore félicitations.
The eastern Gobi Desert is a place like no other. A land of high desert steppe, windswept mountains, and expansive grasslands that have supported nomadic herders for generations.
I grew up here, helping my family and herding livestock. I'm fortunate to have been born in such a wonderful place. My land is home to diverse plant and animal life, unique to the Gobi. We have many endangered species here.
Dornogovi province is also rich in minerals, with vast deposits of gold, copper, and coal that drive the country's economy. 81-year-old Batmunkh Luvsandash spent years working in mining as an electrical engineer. But over time, he grew increasingly alarmed at the industry's destructive impact.
The mining of mineral deposits, which are spread over vast territories, is destroying the land.
Mining erodes grasslands and fragments wildlife habitats. It also depletes and pollutes scarce water sources, already under stress from climate change.
We are facing desertification in the Gobi. If the land continues to be dug up illegally, we'll be left with no land to graze our animals.
In 2015, the Mongolian government issued mining leases on vast tracts of land around the base of Dornogovi's sacred mountains.
There are numerous laws and regulations related to mining. If an area contains cultural heritage, the mining license must be revoked. However, these laws and regulations are not being enforced. I found this situation alarming.
Through his in-depth research into the country's laws, Batmunkh had learned that ordinary citizens have the right to protect the environment. Now retired from his job, he knew exactly how to spend his free time.
People often ask, why do you care so much about the land? And I answer, because my very existence and place of birth are inseparable.
Batmunkh began using his own funds and his engineering background to survey the desert.
Because I was born and raised here, I know the Gobi and its way of life like the back of my hand.
Covering much of it on foot, he identified ecologically important areas, then created hand-drawn maps delineating zones that he believed should be protected.
In our county, there are many sacred sites and historic locations linked to Genghis Khan, as well as places of natural beauty. My goal was to protect them all.
He then wrote letters and consulted with the Nature Conservancy and state officials to confirm his understanding of the law and gather data that would bolster his case.
The key was to meticulously verify every coordinate. If even one single number was incorrect, the entire submission would be rejected.
His science and data-based argument, supported by Mongolia's existing laws, would balance development with conservation.
The real challenge is revoking illegal licenses. Even the courts and prosecutors tend to side with mining companies.
It took 2 years for a decision to be made, but Batmunkh's thoroughness paid off. In April 2022, authorities approved 66,000 acres for protection. The area is close to 3 other zones that Batmunkh had previously succeeded in protecting, meaning that he has saved more than 200,000 acres in Dornogovi province from extractive industries.
One of the most memorable moments was when our sacred mountains were given special protected status. That was a deeply touching experience for me.
Batmunkh's accomplishment not only forms a bulwark against Mongolia's mining boom, but also safeguards fragile wildlife habitat while preserving a centuries-old way of life.
My greatest dream is to preserve this sacred land, along with its rich heritage and natural resources, for future generations.
For outstanding environmental achievement in Asia, the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Batmunkh Luvsandash, Dornogovi Province, Mongolia.
Байгаль орчны салбарын одол амжилт ихтэйхийг хамгаалах үйлсийг урамшуулан дэмжиж ирсэн Ruedan буй орчны Goldman санд төржсөн нутгийн хаан онгон дархан төрхийг хамгаалахад зориг шилуудан хийсэн ажлын минь өндрөөр үнэлсэнд баярлж байна. Миний бие уугууд нутаг Дорноговийн хаан үзэгдсэн байгалыг хамгаалах чин сэтгэлээсээ хүссэн. Энэ чин сэтгэлийн минь хүсэл намайг 15 жил атгахтаа атгаж, дагвахтаа дагваж, гараараа газрын зураг зурж, одон зуун хүнтэй уулзаж, одон хууль тогтоомж, судалж мэдгэд хүргэсэн. Ийхүү уяггүй явсаар 500,000 га талбайг төрийн тусгай хамгаалтанд авахгүйсэн маань өнөөдөр миний энд зогсож байгаа шалтгаан юм аа. Гэхдээ би энэ ажлыг ганцаараа хийгээгүй. Намайг дэмжсэн гэрбүүд, найз нөхөд, хамтран зүтгэсэн ДНС консервацийн олон улсын байгууллага уугуул сугуул зангууданд хандаж хэлэхэд үр хойч минь бидэнд талархна гэдэгт бүү эргэлзээрэй. Тэдэнд үлдээж чадах хамгийн том байдаг бол амьсгалах агаар, амьдрах эрүүл орчин, бидэнд яг энэ байгаараа ирсэн 우즈크스탄 생크를 가리게 마. 오늘 어디갔고요? 자스는 놓고야 하루에 가르쳐. 호이도스 해놨고 오도록 이렇게 듣지. 호빙 아식션 한자하지. 대된다. 하이오된 소스까지 주시다 딱 알픈 더샬던 것때 비 템츠게 있습니다. 호이도스 해놨고 이게 비엔트 헬조감인 애니데. 이츠스튼 헤드케드. орчдон удам би өчөө хөнгөж Монголын яруу нэртний яруу найраг чойн шилгэлсэн байдаг. Ирээд буцах энэ хорвоод юу үлдээх вэ гэдгийг сайтаар батаж эдметрат биш энгүй орчдон тэмүүлж яваарай гэж задуучдаа захиж адасатын Америк орноос амжилт үтээдийн хүсэн өрөөж байна. Анхаарал тавьсанд баярлалаа.
And now, please welcome Rueda con Ritmo with Son Chévere.
Tira lo más lejos lo que no, para que tú veas lo que pasa, para que tú goces como yo. Saca la malicia de tu casa, tira lo malévolo que no, para que tú veas lo que pasa, para que tú goces como yo. Pero que no, para que tú goces como yo. Ese tumbao que se formó, para que tú goces como yo. Rumba buena y guaguancó, mamá, para que tú goces como yo. Saca lo que sobre, para que tú goces como yo. Para que después la vida no te la cobre, para que tú goces como yo. Con lo que sobre y échalo para lado, para que tú goces como yo. Para nada por la vida preocupa, mamá, para que tú goces como yo. Sácalo, para que tú goces como yo. Sácalo y dale mambo, para que tú goces como yo. Son Chévere, mamá, con Rueda, con Ritmo. Ciego a la fiesta después de las 2. Para que tú goces. A bailar con esto de las 9 hasta las 12. Para que tú goces. Yo no quiero lío con nadie roce. Para que tú goces. Que ayuda siempre el que te conoce. Para que tú goces. La vida recompensa y lo reconoce. Para que tú goces. Pero si no puedes, quítatelo entonces. Para que tú goces. Pero si no puedes, quítatelo entonces. Para que tú goces. Camina.
I would like to take just a moment to give a huge shout out to all of our wonderful nominating partners without whom we could not do the work we do each year. Check them out on our website. These are fantastic environmental organizations that are on the front lines of environmental defense. Thank you. Also, we are joined by 400 future leaders, young people from around the Bay Area who are literally going, I see y'all. You all are literally going to inherit the earth and form the next generation of environmental protectors. So, please give another round of applause to the young environmental leaders who are here tonight. Thank you.
From its birthplace high in the Andes, the Marañón River flows more than 1,000 miles to form the mighty Amazon. The river and its tributaries support incredible biodiversity, as well as some of the region's most critically endangered species.
The Marañón River is very sacred to the Cucama people who live here. Within the river are caruaras, the spirits of the water. These are our ancestors.
On its long journey, the Marañón also flows through some of Peru's largest oil reserves. Mariluz Canaquiri Murayari was just a child when she witnessed her first oil spill. Since then, oil spills have been frequent. Some have been catastrophic.
After more than 50 years of oil exploitation, there are heavy metals in our blood, and people die without even knowing what they have, and no one has taken responsibility for the impact.
In 2010, following an accident that dumped thousands of gallons of crude into the river, Mariluz stepped up as a spokesperson for her community.
We had no food because all the fish were dying. We pressured them hard, asking for clean water, saying, we'll all end up drinking oil. We want water.
Mariluz is the founder of Wainakana Kamatawara Kana, a women's association whose mission is to promote the rights of the Kukama and to protect the environment. In the aftermath of the spill, she positioned the association as a key advocate for the river.
At the time, I began to look for allies to stop all this. The authorities must respect where we live. This is our territory. This is our home.
By 2020, the Women's Association had expanded to include 29 Kukama communities, all working for the protection of the river. But oil contamination continued without consequence. Frustrated by the lack of action, Mariluz sought other ways to protect the Marañón. She pursued a strategy that married the Kukama belief that the river contains spirits with the concept of rights of nature, which could grant the river legal personhood.
For us, the river is a human being, like a person, who has the right to flow freely without any contamination. They are living beings with a vital function for humanity.
Working with her legal defense team, Mariluz built a case against the Peruvian government for violating the rights of the river. In September of 2021, she filed the paperwork on behalf of the Women's Association, seeking legal personhood for the Marañón.
There have been many obstacles. They've sued me, reported me, threatened me. I didn't want to listen to those who said, you can't do it. I wanted to prove once again that I can, that we can, women can.
While the lawsuit was being debated by the court, the Women's Association was determined to keep attention on the issue and pressure on the government.
We started making more noise and gaining national and international allies. If we didn't do that, no one would have listened to our issues.
In March 2024, after more than 2 years of litigation, the court made a historic and precedent-setting decision, ruling in favor of the Kukama and granting the rights of nature to the Marañón. This is the first Peruvian river to be granted legal personhood, with the inherent right to remain free-flowing and free of pollution. The ruling also ordered the state-owned oil company, Petroperu, and the local government to immediately address the oil spills and create a protection plan for the river.
We are now the legal defenders of our territory, of our rivers, and we are planning to implement all these achievements to ensure that the Peruvian authorities comply. Having clean rivers doesn't just ensure the health of humans, but also of everything on Earth, all living beings.
For outstanding environmental achievement for South and Central America, the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Mariluz Canaquiri Murayari, Chapajia, Peru.
Buenas noches a todos y todas. Soy Mariluz Canaquiri Murayari del pueblo indígena Cucama-Cucamiria de la Amazonía peruana. Quiero agradecer a la familia Goldman y a todas y todos aquí presentes por este gran reconocimiento. Dedico este premio al pueblo Cucama-Cucamiria, gracias a mis padres por darme el ejemplo de cuidar la Amazonía, a mi familia, a mis hijos y nietos, que han estado muy cercanos a mi trabajo como lideresa indígena. También quiero agradecer a los abogados que nos han venido colaborando, amigas y amigos, a las organizaciones aliadas, nacionales e internacionales. Finalmente, este premio es para los hermanos y hermanas que han dado su vida por defender a la madre naturaleza, sus territorios y sus ríos y la vida. Desde hace 30 años vengo defendiendo nuestros ríos y territorio integral por el derecho al agua, el derecho a la vida. Por eso es la unión que venimos trabajando desde nuestra organización de mujeres Huaynacana Camatahuaracana. Como organización estamos haciendo una trocha donde caminarán las futuras generaciones a través de la reforestación y los casos legales. Quiero dar un mensaje al mundo entero para proteger a la madre tierra, a la naturaleza, a los ríos, al territorio que dan vida a todos y todas. Para el pueblo Cucama, los ríos son muy sagrados, fundamentales para la vida, para mi país y el mundo. La tierra es nuestra madre. Ku significa chakra, Kama es teta. En nuestra cosmovisión, los seres de río del bosque tienen espíritu de gente. Por lo tanto, hemos luchado para que nuestro río Marañón sea considerado sujeto de derechos y las juezas nos dieron la razón, lo que va a servir al mundo entero. Ahora, en Perú, estamos viviendo una crisis política muy grande. Ha sido bien duro hacer llegar nuestras voces como mujeres indígenas en este momento difícil. Tenemos una mandataria autoritaria que está en contra de los pueblos indígenas, de los defensores y defensoras de nuestra naturaleza. Hay políticos en contra de la naturaleza, poniendo leyes que la amenazan grandemente. En la Amazonía hay explotación de petróleo, de minería ilegal, deforestación, contaminación de nuestro río Marañón. Cuando alguien alza la voz y lucha, el gobierno lo criminaliza, lo asesina, y eso no es justo. Por las luchas colectivas hemos venido emprendiendo. Mi persona ha sido criminalizada, por eso quiero dejar este mensaje final para el mundo. Humanizarnos y defender la casa común, que es la madre naturaleza, que nos da el aire para respirar, la comida de todos los días y el agua para tomar. Juntos podemos tejer una red grande para asegurar la vida del presente y del futuro de nuestras generaciones para el mundo entero. Las mujeres Cucama existimos y resistimos en defensa de la naturaleza, de los ríos y el territorio. Sin río no hay bosque. Muchas gracias.
The Vjosa is one of Europe's last free-flowing wild rivers. Undammed for 120 miles, it is a lifeline for many endangered and threatened species. In recent years, Albania planned a series of 40 hydropower projects along the Vjosa.
If one of these dams would have been built, it would have killed the Vjosa. Dams are river killers, blocking the migratory ways for the fish, but also for the sediments and the water. It's like blocking the veins in your body.
These kind of developments are irreversible. You cannot bring a natural river back like it was before, after you build a dam. So it would have been a disaster when it comes to environment, to biodiversity.
Olsi Nika, a biologist, and Besjana Guri, a social worker, are both deeply connected to the Vjosa. He founded the NGO Eco Albania with her support to protect the river and surrounding communities.
Basically, the whole river system of the Vjosa was planned to be diverted or dammed.
For the government, it's just business, while for us, it was a life decision.
With Besjana's background in communications and Olsi's training as an aquatic ecologist, the team partnered with other NGOs and launched a campaign, Save the Blue Heart of Europe, in order to protect the region's wild rivers, including the Vjosa and its tributaries. They organized their first press conference along the banks of the river and invited the mayor and local community members.
The idea to do a press conference in the riverbanks was unusual because normally the press conferences would be organized in a hotel room. We wanted to make it clear that the decisions for the future of a river shouldn't be made in an office in Tirana.
Another unique approach was to establish their own science center as a base for scientists to do research on the river.
We needed help from them to have scientific arguments to oppose the hydropower. They organized their group of colleagues and started doing research about the Vjosa and assessed the whole area that would be affected.
So far, there have been 45 species registered for the first time in the Albania Flora and Fauna books. And out of these, there have been 4 species new to science, and most of the species are threatened. I would never knew how it will end up being such a massive campaign, and not only in a European perspective, but a global one.
Besjana and Olsi were emboldened, working closely with the Albanian government, NGOs, and partners like Patagonia. They expanded their advocacy. The campaign to preserve the river evolved into a broader movement to establish a national park to permanently protect the Vjosa from development.
The only thing that kept us going was a clear vision that this river must be protected.
In March 2023, after a nearly 10-year campaign, the Albanian government established the Vjosa Wild River National Park, protecting more than 31,000 acres and ensuring that the river will remain free-flowing.
To win this case was something extraordinary, and to establish Europe's first wild river national park. Not only the Vjosa, but also the tributaries are free-flowing. It's a living river that you cannot find elsewhere in Europe.
I hope that the Vjosa will be a model not only for Albania, for Europe, but for the whole world. A model on how we can protect wild rivers for the other generations to come.
For outstanding environmental achievement for Europe, the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Besjana Guri and Olsi Nika, Vjosa River, Albania.
Dear friends, what an incredible journey. I'm honored and humbled to receive this prize on behalf of everyone that was part of it. Over the last 12 years, we had mountains to climb and a wild river to navigate. The challenge was immense, but thanks to the dedication of so many, we made a difference, not just in Albania, but by inspiring others around the world. Our success in protecting the Vjosa River is Albania's first major environmental victory, and it proves that change is possible, even in a world where it often feels like your voice is not heard. In the beginning, I wasn't sure that we could protect it, but I chose to believe that we had a chance if we fought hard. Every step we took, no matter how small, was worth it. We fought to protect this wild river together with our partners and local communities, leaving a legacy for future generations. Never did I imagine I'd be standing here with you today. Awards like this are truly special, and I'll treasure it forever. This prize is a reminder that when people come together, they can make the impossible possible. This is about hope that we can change the world by working together, and it's about inspiring others to do what they know is right. I'm proud to stand here with all of you who care. This victory is a shared one, and I invite each of you to speak up for what matters, to protect what cannot protect itself, and to keep fighting for our rivers, our nature, and our children. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored and humbled to stand here before you today. Receiving this award, it's not just a personal achievement, but a recognition of the hard work, dedication, and passion that have gone into this journey. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Goldman Foundation for this incredible honor. A heartfelt thank you to my family, friends, colleagues, and mentors who have supported me every step of the way. Your encouragement, belief in me, and strong support have made this moment possible. My journey to arrive here is profoundly linked with the Vjosa River. There is more than one parallel between my journey and the journey of this free-flowing river that I have dedicated 12 years of my life so far. At first, we were just a handful of people who initiated a campaign to protect the Vjosa from the destruction of the uncontrolled hydropower. It has been unbelievable how more and more people joined us as we progressed into this vision to keep the Vjosa wild. But I would be lying if I said that this journey has been a straight, linear path. There have been many challenges, moments of doubts, struggles, and setbacks. But every obstacle had been an opportunity to learn and grow. Being here with you today is a testament of persistence, resilience, and power of believing in a clear vision. Together with an avalanche of people, we managed to stop all 45 hydropower dams along the Vjosa and pushed the Albanian government to establish Europe's first wild river national park. Free-flowing rivers are becoming extinct at an alarming rate, as more and more rivers are blocked, altered, or polluted. In this respect, the Vjosa story is a model of hope, especially because it took place in a country where for decades environmental cases did not stand a chance. Wild River National Park is a new model on how nature should be preserved as a whole and not in bits and pieces. As they flow freely, rivers are the best singers. Unfortunately, their song nowadays is a desperate cry for protection, but it's entirely on our hands to keep them free so their song can also serve as a lullaby for the generations to come. I want to acknowledge the incredible people who have been inspired and work alongside me. Success is never achieved alone, and I'm grateful to have been able to work with such outstandingly dedicated people. I accept this award with a commitment to continue my work protecting our rivers and ensuring that the Vjosa story does not end here. This recognition will serve as an inspiration for me to continue, and I hope that it will also remind others to never give up on their vision. Thank you once again for this incredible honor. I'm deeply grateful, and I share this recognition with all of those who have been part of this journey. Let's hear River Song and then keep them free. Thank you.
The Canary Islands, a Spanish territory located off the northwestern coast of Africa, are abundant with biodiversity and wild splendor. Like many popular destinations, the islands face a delicate situation as the growing tourist economy threatens the natural beauty on which it thrives. Carlos Mayo Molina, a civil engineer specializing in ports, seemed to personify that conflict between development and conservation.
I discovered this place in 2012. It was a long day in construction, and I came here for the sunset. And I just went here scuba diving, being surrounded by the sea turtles, just dancing around, giant stingrays. All of the problems of the day were gone after seeing all of that life.
Carlos had moved to Tenerife to work as an engineer on a major highway construction project. The road would end at the site of the proposed Fonsalia port, which threatened vital habitat for endangered green sea turtles and a unique population of tropical pilot whales.
When you build any construction, you are destroying ecosystems. Destroying nature is simple, is easy, and fast. But when it comes to regenerate it, it's difficult, expensive, and almost impossible. I realized I'm doing something wrong. How can I love so much what I'm seeing here and at the same time I'm working to destroy it? I decided I needed to change what I was doing and find a way to protect what I love, so I decided to quit my job.
Carlos founded Inociana to oppose the Fonsalia port and dedicate himself to protecting the environment.
The change was overwhelming. I knew how to be an engineer, but I was jumping into a new field. I was going to do the opposite of what I knew how to do.
Carlos began to map the underwater area where the port would be built to document the devastation it would cause. He united locals and experts, helping to collect over 420,000 signatures on a petition opposing Fonsalia.
There was a union of biologists, engineers, environmentalists, storytellers that came together for the same reason and with the same mission.
The Inociana team presented its research to government officials and demonstrated that the existing environmental impact report was out of date and inadequate.
After a lot of meetings with politicians, some of them started going against the port. They started talking like, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. This is not what we need.
As their scientific and political efforts gained momentum, Carlos and his team emphasized that their fight was about securing Tenerife's future in every sense, protecting both its natural environment and its economic foundation.
I really want to inspire people, especially engineers, to look for a different path than the path that we've been in the last 50 years of development. Nature-based solutions should be at the forefront of the next 20 years of development.
Thanks to the research, advocacy, and pressure coordinated by Carlos and his team, the Canary Islands government overwhelmingly decided to abandon plans to construct the Fonsalia port in October of 2021.
Seeing all of the politicians saying no to the port, they were like a big celebration. It's a great example of how things can change. We, as a society, were able to change a reality that was the destruction of a marine protected area into a reality where we are working to create hope through collaboration that is focused on saving and protecting a marine protected area. Estas maravillosas tortugas.
Carlos has now partnered with the government to build a marine conservation and education center right in the proposed location of the Fonsalia port, the first education center of its kind in the Canary Islands.
I know the power of nature to change mentalities, and I can see a change happening. It's about loving what we still have in the nature and loving this world and wanting to protect it together.
For outstanding environmental achievement for islands and island nations, the 2025 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Carlos Mayo Molina, Tenerife, Canary Islands.
No podemos juzgar el pasado con los ojos del presente. Or in English, we cannot judge the past with the eyes of the present. I grew up admiring my father. He was a civil engineer who helped develop the Spanish coastline at a time where Spain needed it, the growth. I don't judge him. His generation truly believed they were building a better future. But today is different. Science has opened our eyes. Nature is collapsing. The climate is changing. And the only way forward is to protect what's left. As a civil engineer, or as we say in Spanish, ingeniero de caminos, canales y puertos, I learned that concrete and steel meant progress. But something pulled me away. I began listening to the ocean, to the I began listening to the ocean, to the communities, to the scientists, and to my own conscience. And that's why I stood with the community of Tenerife against the Fonsalia port, a project that would have destroyed one of the last marine sanctuaries in the Canary Islands and in Europe. Stopping a port is not easy. It means confronting powerful interests and outdated ideas. But sometimes, the best answer is the zero solution, to build nothing and let nature be. Just for 1 second, imagine what could the world look like in 50 years from now if we understand that nature is our greatest wealth and that healthy ecosystems aren't optional, but they are essential. Destroying nature is easy. Unfortunately, it's very easy. Restoring it is difficult, sometimes impossible. Even with all of our efforts at Inoceana, and even if we have trillions of dollars, we cannot bring back a dead ocean. Education is our most powerful tool. And this is the reason why we are creating a marine conservation center where the Fonsalia port was once planned, and this center is called Hope. Thank you, everyone, for this honor. I accept it with deep gratitude and responsibility. Inoceana and I will never stop fighting for what we believe in, and neither will you. And as you all know, our planet thrives when our ocean thrives. And that's the reason why we need to all together make this happen. Thank you very much.
Laurene, Semia, Batmunkh, Mariluz, Besjana, Olsi, and Carlos have each worked incredibly hard to protect ecosystems and communities. They refuse to sit down and passively watch environmental destruction, but instead got busy. Each of us can step in our own way. Please check out goldmanprize.org or scan the QR code in your program and see how you can support each of these phenomenal leaders in their work. As is tradition, you are all warmly invited to a reception across the street at City Hall in a few minutes. There will be plenty to eat, drink, and many new and old friends to connect with. So please come celebrate with us. And thank you to our prize recipients for their dedication. And to you in the audience for being an enthusiastic part of the solution. I'd now like to invite all the prize winners back to the stage together so we can recognize their achievements one more time. Good night, and see you next year.